Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to Chronicles of a Crafter. So the challenge was put out there for me to do another one of scrapbooking with me crafts and Melena's Scrapbusters, and the challenge was put out there and I decided to accept. So this is the project right here. It's a little pocketed doodad that can go into your junk journal with a couple of tags in the front pocket and this huge journaling card on the inside right here. So I just recreated it, and it can be done with or without an envelope. I'm going to be doing mine with an envelope because that's how the project was done. So I have that big box of envelopes that I picked up at the thrift store. So yeah, we can either do it with or without an envelope. It's really simple, guys. I actually cut my envelope open by accident and then I had to reglue it. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. I didn't even need an envelope to begin with. But here's what the project looks like. Okay, there's a little journaling card in there. I just placed some notepad paper on top of some cardstock, and this tucks right down inside of here, and it all lines up very neatly with the outside of the project. Down here in the front, I just made a couple of tags with the leftover paper and put some eyelets in it, and I added a little botanical card right there. It says blessed at the top, and I hand wrote blessed by nature down at the bottom. At the top here, it's where the little tab would normally go on something like this that you have to pull out. So I just took some of this natural jute. Here, I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like this. There were 3 colors on here. I think I may have used it. This is more so for jewelry making. It's waxed cotton cord, and then it's dyed. So I took some of that pink to go with the rest of this. And yeah, I just put that right up there. I punched some holes with my awl and then stitched it through with this this cord. So anyway, let's just go ahead and make one of these. Okay, so go grab your envelopes and some pretty paper and we can do that. All right, I'll be right back. So this was the big box of envelopes I was talking about. I picked up at the thrift store while I was traveling through Houston as I'm crafting across America. Anyway, so this was the box of envelopes that I picked up. It's a number 10 envelope. They have 24-pound weight commercial grade envelopes. So I'm not sure if you will find this, or if you have some of these, or if you can use a lighter weight envelope. 24-pound is pretty heavy for an envelope, but yeah, if you have standard envelopes, it's perfectly fine. It'll all work out in the end. This is just a heavier grade envelope, so that's that. I paid $4 for this at the thrift store. So here's my envelope. It's in position on my scoreboard, and this is just some pretty paper. This came out of the Stamperia paper pack. I believe it's called Forest or Botanicals. I'm sorry, I don't have it with me and I can't remember the name of it. It's something Botanicals or Forest, one of the two. And I don't think it was Forest, because Forest has a little squirrel on the packaging and I am yet to see a squirrel yet in this paper pack. Anyway, I just took it to my copier when I was at home and copied it onto some white cardstock. So that's why I'm trying to tell you that you do not need an envelope to begin with. You can follow these dimensions that I'm going to give you if you have a paper large enough, and you can create this, or at least get it started to the point where then you can see where you need to cut down and go from there. This envelope measures 4 1/4 by 9 1/2. And I'm just looking for my scoring tool, which should be on my desk, but not. Oh, here it is. And I'm just going to score right here on this page at 4 1/8, because that's exactly what this envelope measures. Here, I need to move it out of the way. I'm going to score here at 4 1/8, right? I just flipped it over so we can see the score marks. 4 1/8. And then you're going to score it again at 8 1/4. Okay. So what we're going to do is remove this side over here with our cutting tool or guillotine or craft knife or whatever you have. I have this little slide here. So I'm just going to cut that section away, if I can see it. Just 1 second. Okay guys, so I just went ahead and glued my envelope flap shut, and just checked it against the paper that we've just scored and folded to make sure that it fits tucked inside of there really nicely. So there's that. I'm also going to fold this up with about a 2-inch, maybe a 2 1/4 inch pocket here on the front flap, and I'm just using my score mat, my craft mat, to get me that measurement. So I'm not even going to use a scoreboard or anything. I'm just going with this right here. Okay, so here's my score tool. And the only reason I'm using this paper is because it's from the same paper pack as this one, and I'm trying to just, you know, coordinate. So here's the 2 envelopes. These 2 will fit nicely into any junk journal. They're about the same size. I'm looking at, yeah, about the same size. Yeah, so this right here will be our front pocket. So from here, you want to take your paper, and I'm going to fold this section up right here. I'm just going to use my pen and mark where I need to cut. So right here will be my cut mark for this front pocket. Okay, so let's just see. I just want to make sure that we are getting it right where we need it to be. Yeah, so right about here. And right about here. Okay, so I'm going to bring back in my little cutting tool, and I'm only going to cut this section right here down. Alright, so here I'll show you what I mean. Let me get it lined up. Cut there, and I'm going to cut across here. And I'll finish the rest off with my little Tim Holtz tiny snips here. So I hope you guys are having a super crafty day. I don't even know what day I'm uploading this video. It's just been one thing after the other. I've just been very busy, you know, crafting across America. I think that's so funny. I don't know if anybody else does, but I find it to be hilarious. So there is this. This is going to fit right there, and then our little extra piece is going to go on the front and lined up with the previous section of the paper, and that's going to go just like that. Alright, so next you want to figure out where at the top you want to cut your pocket for the tag that's going to go in and out of the pocket. So let's just, first I'm going to glue this down, because that's just how I did the last one. I'm just going to glue this down to the front here. And I'm just using glue stick and art glitter on the edges. So I want to thank the subscriber AZ for sending me this project, this little challenge to try. And yeah, I think these are fun, guys. I really hope that you guys send me some more of these challenges. I'm just lining up the paper to see which way it goes, because that's important. Yeah, send me anything that you guys want to see me make with my paper. I have lots of paper and I need to use it up. So if there are any projects out there that you guys are interested in seeing me do, just drop me a little comment or send me an email. My email is in the description box down below. It's chroniclesofaCrafter@gmail.com. So yeah, just send me any projects that you'd like to see me make with my paper. I'm going to use my craft knife and my little metal ruler right here and cut away the excess of just the paper. I'm not cutting open this pocket, just the paper. We're working with the bottom section of this envelope right now. So I'm just cutting away the paper. Okay. Alright, so there's that. Next, I'm going to put a little thumb notch in here. So I'm using my 1 1/4 inch hole punch, and I'm just guesstimating the center. Whoops. And popping in a little thumb notch. So that also opens up your envelope, right? So you have to be aware that now there's like a little hole right there. Just put a little bit of glue in there and seal that hole up, because that's what putting in a thumb notch will do. So I just use a little bit of art glitter. I got to keep my art glitter closed so I do not run into any more clogs. And I did find my pen. I'm so happy I found my little stainless steel pins to go into my glue. Okay, so yeah, I'm just holding this while the glue dries just a little bit. The art glitter should grab pretty quickly. But yeah, the glue stick is a different story. So I'm just holding it so that it dries quick. So here's our envelope jacket. You want to line your envelope back up inside of the pretty paper, and then close this flap and see if it works, right? You want to make sure that your papers still line up. Now here is my little here's my little pocket thumb notch that I cut out. Had I been smart, I would have drawn a thumb notch in and then cut around it, or fussy cut around it, but I didn't do that, guys. I'm a slacker. So what I'm going to do is line my paper back up just like this. And I didn't even do this with the other one, so shame on me, but I'll show you what I did to the other one. I'm going to line this back up, put my envelope in nice and taut inside of that, inside of the jacket of the paper pack, and I'm going to set that in place right there. Okay, so this is where that's going to go. I'm gonna use what do you call this, art glitter, because it dries quick, and that's my goal, is to set it and forget it. So let's just rotate that back up and get it right where we want it. Okay. There we go. Okay. So that's there now forever. So that's going to live right there in that spot. So that's just our thumb notch that we cut away, because when we fold this over, it's going to butt up against there, and there would have been a white gap right here. Okay, so I just used the thumb notch and placed it back in there. And now I'm going to glue down the front cover. So here, let me just show you what I did for the other one really quickly. This is the one with the floral on the front, and if you notice, I just inked in there. It was white, and when you put tags in, you'll never see it anyway, but should you pull it out, you'll be like, what is that white gap right there? So yeah, I just inked inside of there with some green and brown distress ink and tucked some tags in front of it, and you'll never know. But for me, I think having this right here just kind of completes that little section. Okay, so now again, I'm going to pull out my glue mat, because this can become messy at this point. I'm going to glue the entire thing on the front right through here, and I'm just using plain old glue stick for now. I will go in with art glitter after. just around the edges to make sure that it all adheres properly. And I'm going to line it back up inside the jacket, and I'm going to hold my bone folder there in place and flip it over. Okay, there we go. Very nice. Okay, so there's that. And then check my pocket to make sure it does still overlap, and it does, so that looks great. And you just want to make sure, just keep checking to make sure that your paper, your envelope actually lines up inside of this little jacket that we're making for it. So, alright. So now with that glued down, I'm then going to glue down the back side. And I just want to line this up a little bit more because it has a weird crease in it. So there's that. Okay, so I'm going to glue down the back. Again, I'm just using glue stick and Fabrifix, and you're going to glue all the way down to where this fold is. Okay, see that little fold right there? You're going to glue on your flap section all the way down to where that fold is, and that gives you the measurements for how much of the paper you're going to need and cut away. So right about there. That's going to get cut away. This is going to get cut away at the top. And there we go. Okay. I just folded my pocket underneath, and I'm going to fold this over right there. And any glue that seeps out, you know what to do with the dry wipes. Just wipe it away. Okay. So I didn't glue my pocket down yet. I want to make sure that everything is in position before I do. And then I want to ink it before I do as well. Okay. So now that all of that is straight, I can cut away the excess down here on just the paper, not the envelope. So, okay, easy peasy. And then anything else that's excess, see like where my score mark was for this fold, that's just a little bit of excess paper on the outside. I'm just going to cut that away as well. Just the paper, not the envelope. I'm going to keep saying that. Do not cut open the envelope, because I totally did. Okay, I don't know what project I thought I was making, but I totally cut my envelope open, and that was a big no-no. Okay. So there is that. Alright, so now is when I want to ink everything. And I'm going to ink it in the same color as I inked before, which was peeled paint and shabby shutters. These are my two greens that I'm using right now in most of my projects. I'm kind of loving green right now. Like, as far as fall colors go, green is life for me. I've just been using a lot of greens in some of my projects. So I'm just inking around the edges. And of course I have to cut away the top portion of that because it is too long. But I can also just leave that, right? Like, I don't need to cut that away. It'll just give my, my envelope, my little project, a little bit more height. So yeah, what I'll do is I'm just going to run a bead of glue right down in here. Okay, can you see that? And then I'm just going to pinch it shut. Okay, so it's a fraction of an inch taller than the envelope. And I think I probably did the same thing with this one, except now I can't tell because yeah, it's already decorated. But it's just maybe 1/8 of an inch taller than the envelope was. So yeah, I just left it. This way I don't have to worry about making too many cuts close to the envelope itself. So yeah, I've just left it there and glued it down. And that's pretty much it for that. Oh, I do need to glue my pocket. So here is my pocket. I'm gonna ink underneath here and underneath here. Okay, yep. And I'm going to glue down these two flaps right here, this side right here, and this side over here with art glitter. I'm not anti-art glitter, but I used some glue this past week at the Stamp and Scrapbooking Expo. I believe it's called Barely There or something like that. I'm in love with that glue, guys. Like, I don't know how many of you are using that glue, but yeah, that glue is really good. Like, I had no issues with it. It dried like it dried not as fast as art glitter, so you still have a little bit of wiggle room, but it glued really well. It held really well. It had a good consistency. I liked it a lot, so I'm thinking of using up my art glitter as fast as possible so I can get this other glue, because I have tons of art glitter glue now. And when I thought, you know, there was an art glitter glue shortage, I went and bought a huge bottle of it. And yeah, that's my life. I tend to jump off a cliff before knowing what's below. I'm going to go ahead and cut this section of the envelope right here to create this little hidden journaling card. Okay, so this little tag right here is tucked in inside of the card, but it's part of the envelope housing. So in order to get it nice and lined up, I just wanted a general idea of how much of it I used on the previous. So I'm just going to put a little pen mark right there. And I'm going to cut this open. This is the only time that you're going to cut open your envelope. Okay, so there it's all lined up. A couple of passes with my craft knife. And now we have this. And this is open up here at the top. Okay, and this is open down here at the bottom. Okay, there's some wrinkling inside the envelope. That's because I used, you know, wet glue and glue stick. So let me grab some paper to go in here for my journaling tag, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so this is pretty much it. I went ahead and grabbed some of this journaling, this notepad paper, glued it down to another one of this pretty paper cardstock. Not really cardstock, it feels a little light, so it's a little heavier than copyweight, but it's more or less scrapbooking paper. I glued it down to there, and this right here is just going to get tucked up inside of the top portion of that envelope. And you need to measure this, guys. This is the important part. For one, you don't want it too far to one side. You don't want it too far to the other side. You definitely want it somewhere in the middle. But you need to test this. You have to make sure that one, the envelope doesn't stop here like this. Okay, and that your page can fit all the way down in there. So you have to make sure that it fits appropriately. and lines up side to side before gluing it in. Okay, so mine, the original prototype, I ended up having to cut some off the bottom and then re-round all the corners, because after I played with it, tucked it in and out, and it just wasn't going all the way down on its own. Like, you know, it was getting stuck actually on a piece of a flap from the envelope on the inside. So make sure all your envelope flaps are glued down really well, like this section. You got to glue these sections down. I don't know if I told you guys that, or if I showed you that's what I did. I did glue down all the flaps on that one, because when you tuck this in and out, it gets a little caught on a flap. But this right here, if your paper is completely patterned, very pretty, and you know, has a coordinating pattern going on, you want to make sure that, one, your page fits all the way down in there, and two, your sides line up. I can't stress that enough, because if this inked mark right here was slightly over because, you know, it's floppy inside of there, that's where the whole project goes awry. So that's just my tip for you guys. I checked it, double checked it. I'm gonna check it again just to make sure. And also I'm going to triple check that my pocket is on the front and not on the back. all these little intricate, you know, little things, little details that you have to like really pay attention to when you're making someone else's project, right? So this isn't my own concept, it's not my own idea. Again, I got this from Scrapbooking with Me. That's Melena's mom, Melena Pilot's mom. And yeah, someone sent me the challenge to do this project, and after looking at it, I thought it was way more complicated than what, I mean, it looks beautiful. Her paper is very, very beautiful. Her project came out so nice. But I thought it was way more complicated, and here I am crafting in my RV. I'm like, I won't be able to get to that until I get back home to my craft room. But I finally watched the video and remembered that I purchased that huge box of envelopes at the thrift store, so you can't go wrong with that. For one, you can make this 200 times and finally get it on the 199th time correctly, because I have 200 envelopes to play with. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm totally doing this because it's easy. All right, it's easier than I thought. It's not really that easy, but yeah, so these are just all the little details that you just have to keep in mind when you're doing someone else's project, someone else's idea. And don't forget to give them credit. I love the fact that someone suggested this project to me, and I love the fact that it's already been created by somebody else, so I can just put my own little twist on it instead of recreating the wheel, right? So there's my 2 cents on that whole concept. But yeah, my sides line up nicely. My pocket has its own little flap protector right in there, because I kept that piece from the hole punch, the circle punch. And now the only thing left to do is decorate. So I am going to grab the remainder of this paper and make a couple tags with it. That's how simple that is. As far as decorating is concerned, let me slide my inks out of the way. And even though this space right here, it's almost the same size as my craft room desk, I feel like I'm like working in a I feel like I'm working in a 1x1 square box. You know, it's hard for me to really just spread out all over the place, but because this is my kitchen counter and it's used for other things. So right in front of me there's a huge toaster oven and coffee pot. So yeah, this is happening, like legitimately happening. This measures 8 1/4. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this down to 4 1/8, and I'll have 2 perfectly even, let's see, 4 1/8, right? Yep, right there. I'll have 2 even tags that will go into the pockets. And of course I do not have my tag maker, my little credit cards or gift cards that creates tags for me. So I'm just going to use something that already has a tag shape. Let me use my tiny snips and line them up evenly on here, and then just cut it into a tag as if. Like, really? Like, who thought of this? Who was the person that thought of this? Like, I would never buy a tag maker. Not if I can do this for practically free. Alright, so there. Now we have 2 tags. My crocodiles here, ready to go. And I'm going to use the large setting right here. I just put both tags together to get the holes lined up. And here I have some eyelets. So I think I'm going to use on this one, let's see, probably, yeah, I'll use gold. Sure, why not? It's mine. It's my project. And these are smaller. These eyelets are actually smaller than the standard 3/16. So already I can tell I need to change my setting. This happens to be a 1/8 eyelet, but it fits into a 3/16 hole that the crocodile makes. Because when you make a 3/16 hole and try to put a 3/16 eyelet in, you have to force it in, and that becomes a problem. Sometimes you can rip your paper if your eyelet hole isn't far enough down in the off the tag top. I hope that makes sense. Like, I'm not just babbling, guys. I've ran into that problem. Ran into that problem before. I've made a 3/16 hole. I put a 3/16 eyelet in. I have to force it in through the hole, and yeah, it ripped my paper. So even with a reinforcement on the back. So here are 2 tags that I'm talking about right here. These are the 2 different holes that this one obviously is a much larger hole with a much larger eyelet, and here's the tiny one with the tiny eyelet, but I used the same size 3/16 hole and then inserted 2 different size eyelets. Hope that makes sense, because I'm not going to repeat it. Alright, so the only thing left to do now is to decorate. So here is my top section, and I stitched across the top of this one with that yarn, or this jute cord that I was telling you about. It's waxed, and I did like a little blanket stitch. Kind of looks crocheted. That was the first stitch that I ever learned to make when I was a little kid, and I guess who taught me that? Like, my kindergarten teacher. He was stitching a button on his shirt, and he was like, come here, I'm going to show you how to sew. Kindergarten taught me how to do a blanket stitch, and I will never forget that. Like, that forever is burned into my memory of kindergarten. So anyway, I'm just going to take some of this doily right here and some Fabrifix glue. I'm just going to glue these sections of the doily that I think will touch the page and plop this down. I'm only going to do halfway. Here, I'll show you what I mean. I'm only going to put half the doily on, and the other half will be used as a, you know, a pull. So there's that. Nice and simple. I'm gonna let that dry. And for my decorations down here, I'm just gonna use some pre-cut tags. Like, that's pretty. And a little washi leaf. Because this is already so busy, right? I don't want to like add more distractions to the eye, but I can definitely put that right there, that washi leaf. And I'll use my little sentiment stamps Let's see, what do I want to put on here? Maybe the word memories. And, oh, you know what? I'm going to put 2 words on. I saw the word, oh, it says fall. Okay, I'll use fall. I thought autumn was on here, but it says spring, summer, fall, and winter. So I'm just going to use fall and put the word memories. I'm going to line these up as best as I can, evenly on here in the right order. So it should read it correctly when you flip it over. It shouldn't be backwards. So keep that in mind, Nicole. And I'm also going to like double test and triple test to make sure that these 2 words can fit on this little label and on the line. Yep, that'll work. That will work. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Let's see. No, that's too brown. I already have like enough dark colors on here. I'm going to try to brighten this up a little bit with a blue tag. And I'm going to use VersaFine, my favorite ink. I also tried out a new ink. It's VersaFine, but it's called VersaFine Clair. That's C-L-A-I-R, I think. But yeah, that was another great find at the scrapbooking expo, the Stamp and Scrapbooking Expo. Like, that was a really nice ink that we used. So I picked up one of those and I'm going to give it a try in my crafting. Oh, that couldn't have come out any more perfect. Like, I'm sorry for all the other things that's blocking you. You know, it won't focus. Let me see if I can get it close enough. There we go. Alright, that says fall memories. It doesn't get any better than that. And I'm just going to place that little leaf right in there. I use glue stick for this. On my glue mat, that scissor that just hit the floor has been dying to fall. It's been I've caught it like 3 times already. It's been dying to hit the floor for like the last half hour. So anyway, I'm going to put this right here. Make sure it's straight-ish. And I'm going to peel back this washi from this label. Okay. And I'm just going to put these leaves right here. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay. And here's our topper. So I didn't do much to this topper, even though it has a very nice doily pull tab at the top. But here is our other pocket. So I think I'm going to mix and match these tags because this one just blends right in with the entire thing. So there. Okay, that's it. So here is my rendition of me scrapbooking with me, and M-E is capitalized, so I'm assuming it's her name, M-E. Anyway, so Scrapbooking with Me Crafts did this really cute envelope journaling, like peekaboo journaling tag. So yeah, this is my version of it. So I hope you guys give this project a try. It's simple. It's simple, guys. Grab some envelopes, or you don't even need to. You can just take your page and fold it in half, right? Like on the long. And instead of stuffing an envelope in there, you just cut it so that you have enough to flip it up to make a pocket at the bottom. And then of course you score your top section off after you've glued it down on the sides. And then you just tuck in some journaling space on there. Okay, that's pretty much it. Alright, envelope or no envelope. I happen to have envelopes, so I'm going to use up every single envelope in that box. Okay guys, have a super crafty day. Go do something wonderful. Stay naturally curious. Check out all my links down below in the description box, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I noticed that you guys are watching the videos but are not subscribed. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers so that I can have this massive giveaway. My craft room is filled with things that I want to stuff into a box and send it to someone. So please guys, subscribe to the channel. We have a 500 subscriber giveaway. I'm at 3 something right now. But anyway, there's also in that subscriber giveaway lots of stickers, lots of stamps, lots of fabric. So I have 2 yards that I'm giving away. I actually have like 12 yards. But I have 2 yards of Edith Holden-esque type of fabric. It's very pretty. It's very like this, you know, but not so condensed. It's very, you know, spread out. So yeah, just subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. Neither does shopping from my links down below on Amazon. So whatever you would buy normally, if it's in my link, click the link, purchase it. It doesn't cost you any extra. I get a small commission off of Amazon's profits. I want to thank you guys for watching my videos, and I will definitely talk to you in the next one. Stay naturally curious. Bye.